Hello and welcome. I am Louie at Ninjazilla80, and today I will be reviewing the Hiya Toys Exquisite Basic Godzilla 2000 Millennium Figure, or as the box says, Godzilla 1999, but we all know this one as Godzilla 2000, so that's what I'm going to go by. And with all that said, this figure is, of course, a really awesome, super cool figure, especially if you're a Godzilla fan, and I got some things to say about him, so that's what I'm here today to do. So, with that said, let's get started. And now, starting things off with the box, because you know we have to talk about really awesome, cool looking boxes on this channel, because unfortunately I'm not able to keep all of my boxes, because I just simply don't have room for them. But anyway, first things first, we see a really awesome, super cool, fearsome looking promotional picture of the figure right there, front and center, looking really fearsome and awesome, as if only the king of the monsters himself, Godzilla, could do. And of course, we do have the Godzilla 2000 Japanese movie logo right there. And looky at this cookie. The box actually does say Godzilla 2000 right there in the movie title logo English translation. But they label the figure as Godzilla 1999. Well, I guess if the 1999, 2000, whatever you go with, whatever bakes your cookie, that's what you go with. I know what like I said, I know him as Godzilla 2000. That's what most people know this design as, so I'm going with Godzilla 2000. But anyway, I'm moving right along. Of course, we have the Toho logo right there. We have the Godzilla title logo right there. We have the Hiya Toys logo. Reminds me a lot of the Nintendo 64 logo. Because of the way it's because of the way it's shaped and the way it's made and everything, it just makes me think of the Nintendo 64 logo. And of course, we have a warning label reminding you it's not food, it's not a piece of candy, it's not Skittles, it's not going to taste like the rainbow, it's not a Slim Jim, so don't get hungry and try to eat it, because not going to go over so well. Not for children under 3, choking hazard, for ages 16 and up, so all you 15-year-olds and below, you're out of luck. And of course, it says 16 plus right there. And of course, the top of the box says Godzilla 1999. Would have been better if they would have put Godzilla 1999/2000. I don't know. I guess just Hiya Toys just went with 1999 for some reason. But anyway, turning it to the side, we have a really cool side profile promotional picture of the figure right there. And of course, we have the same title logos and company logo we have on the front of the box. And the other side of the box, we have another really cool promotional picture of the figure roaring up into the sky right there, like it's his victory roar at the end of the Godzilla 2000 movie after he defeats Orga. Spoiler alert. And yeah, we really didn't know that monster's name until the Godzilla Destroy All Monsters Melee game came out, because for some reason, correct me if I'm wrong, Orga, the monster that Godzilla fights in Godzilla 2000, is never mentioned by name throughout the whole movie. But anyway, moving right along to the back, we have a smaller promotional picture of Godzilla roaring up into the sky again. Same logos we have on the front. We have all the social media platforms you can find Hiya Toys on, which is X, which is used to be Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and of course a warning label written in Chinese reminding you it's not a piece of sushi. It's not Doritos Locos Tacos from Taco Bell. So, like I said earlier, don't try to eat it. Looks cool. Fun to play with, fun to pose, but not to eat. And I'm just noticing this. There's like this holographic, like official Godzilla sticker right there. That's cool. And of course, we have a QR code. I believe that takes you to Hiya Toys' website. And we have it's made in China. We have a recycling logo, and that's pretty much it for the box. Nothing too much interesting here afterwards. So now on to the figure. And now here we have the Hiya Toys Exquisite Basic Godzilla 2000 Millennium Figure in all of his super cool, awesome, fearsome Millennium Goji glory. Because, yeah, this figure is definitely a super cool, true, awesome one. If I do say so myself. Because, if you ask me, Hiya Toys knocked it out of the park with this one 110%. Yeah, spoiler alerts for my final score on this figure, but I just gotta give it to you straight up. Hiya Toys, I don't know who their sculptor is, but it seems to me they are going above and beyond to make sure these figures are as movie accurate and as realistic looking as they can be. They are really putting a lot of time and effort into sculpting these figures. Doing this type of work takes a lot of patience and precision, and whoever's sculpting for them, they are doing a dang on good job, if you ask me, because I've seen Yuji Sakai's work for SH Monster Arts. He also does a really good job, but I think whoever's sculpting for Hiya Toys, they're definitely outdoing Yuji Sakai for a lower price, if you ask me. I'm not trying to put Yuji Sakai down, the SH Monster Arts sculptor down. He does some good work too, but I'm just saying Hiya, so I can just tell Hiya sculptors are very, very passionate about what they do. And about, getting these characters right, these kaiju right, and just getting everything as accurate as it can possibly be. And if you just take a look, one of these signature traits of Godzilla 2000, different from other Godzilla designs, not only does this one have a very bright reddish orange heat ray, rather than your typical blue heat ray. He also has some metallic crimson red jagged spiked dorsal spines as well. If you take a look, and I'm not lying, these are really, really sharp too. If you're not careful, they can poke you and make you bleed. So definitely, you might want to keep this away from small children, just for safety purposes. But anyway, taking a closer look at his body, you can see how all his scales are well detailed, and how the Godzilla 2000 has some more bonier, bigger, spikier scales sticking out his back where his dorsal spines are. If you take a closer look at that, and I'm turning them around, almost kind of almost like this one has scoots. Sort of like an alligator or a crocodile, and that's kind of like what his skin color is like as well. Other than just being like a charcoal, like a dark black, dark scaly, charcoal gray color. This one's got some sort of like some reptile green in them. if you look, he has some like lizard like dark green colorization. Like I said, like you would see on the back of an alligator or crocodile, something like that. I should know what that looks like. I live in the Louisiana swamps, and yeah, I as much as they are a part of wildlife, I still don't get used to them when they come in the yard. But anyway, but that's not often, thank God. But anyway, taking a closer look at this figure, especially in the face, I can definitely tell you Hiya Toys done a really good job on his eyes as well. Paying close attention to that, because how could you not? Because one of the famous scenes in Godzilla 2000 is when he has that huge fishing boat in his mouth, and he bites it in half, and the camera zooms up to his eye, and you see the big Godzilla 2000 movie logo show up. That's how you know, especially taking a good close look at Godzilla's eyes here. A really nice job, and of course you can see Hiya Toys also sculpted in his little bitty tiny Godzilla ears there. You see his little pointy ears. Hiya Toys went all out with this figure. They've got every detail, like they hit it off with every detail spot on, if you ask me. Some people could object to that. To me, like I said, they knocked it out of the park 110% with detail and paint applications on this one. Also, especially looking at the hand claws, choke claws in his teeth, they are a very realistic, very beautiful, very vivid, weathered bone white color with a little tan mixed in there, which is really nice because that really gives it a nice, realistic, movie accurate look. And of course, his jaw is articulated, so we can open that mouth and we can see all the finer details inside the mouth. And also, if you take a look, you can see all the little like ridges and folds and everything in his tongue. Really nice. I appreciate how Hiya Toys is putting so much detail and so much work into their figures. Even though these are not cheap, they are still more affordable than SH Monster Arts, which is a definite plus. I didn't just gravitate toward Hiya Toys because it's cheaper than Monster Arts. I just also feel like their quality is better for the price. And needless to say, I feel like Hiya Toys sculptors, especially with their Godzilla figures, they're outdoing Yuji Sakai with SH Monster Arts. Needless to say, I'm not saying that Yuji Sakai's work is bad. He does some really good realistic sculpting as well. But Hiya Toys, they're just doing it a little bit more accurate, and that's one thing that I really, really like. They are getting these figures to be as movie accurate as they possibly can be. But anyway, enough yakking about that. Getting into articulation, so we can demonstrate articulation for you guys, so we can show you how this figure is supposed to move. Starting with the head. The head is on a barbell style ball joint inside the neck sleeves here, because these just flow on his shoulders when you move his head up and down, and so his neck can bend and his head can bend. And of course we can rock side to side a little bit with the head, so we can do that. We can look right, we can look left, and if we hold the neck piece down, I apologize for bumping my camera, we can cranium revolve a full 360 and the opposite way if we choose to. And of course, we do have a waist joint as well, so we can bend forward and back, we can rock side to side, and of course we can rotate a full 360 because we do have a barbell style ball joint connecting the top torso to the waist. And about the waist joint, your tightness and looseness with that torso joint may vary. Mine was a little loose when I got it out of the box, so I have to heat it up, take that joint out, and apply some clear nail polish, and use my hair dryer to get that nail polish to harden, and then push it back in there, and then yeah, it was pretty stable because it was just way too loose. It was just like plopping forward when I wasn't even touching it. Excuse me. And now, yeah, it's better. I might make a tutorial on how to do that later. But anyway, moving right along to shoulder articulation. So his shoulders are on ball joints. We can move them up like so. We can move them down like so. And of course, we can rotate them all the way around, full 360, in the opposite way. Same is true with the other arm, as you are seeing. And of course, we have a double joint in the elbow. Same is true with the other arm. Rotate at the wrist. Same is true with the other hand. We do have ball joints in the hips, so we can spread out like so. We can bring them back in. We can kick forward about that much, back down about that much. Can we? I'm not gonna try it because I don't want to break anything. So yeah, but we can rotate it a good bit, just not a full 360 because it collides with the sculpt. So just keep that in mind. Try doing a full 360. Just yeah, it's a no-go zone with this figure. But yeah, who's gonna be doing that anyway? I was just trying for demonstration purposes. That's it. But anyway, we do have a double joint in the knee. Same is true with the other leg. And of course, we have a ball joint in the ankles, so we can rock those ankles forward and back, side to side. And of course, rotate a full 360 if we choose to, like so. And of course, moving right along to the tail, and the tail is comprised of multiple ball joint segments. I'm not even about to count them because, yeah, I'm more than sure you can, but I think we're just going to be here all day because, well, you know what, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 20. There's like 25, I think 25, maybe like 24, 22 if I'm correct. Ball joint segments in the tail because they get pretty small when you get to the tip of the tail. That's why I'm losing count. But anyway, tail articulation is very fluid, very smooth. I really, really like that. Nice. You can put them in all different poses. You can put his tail this way. You can bend his tail the opposite way. You can put it in a nice little S curve, and you could do the same S curve the opposite way. I would hope this figure has a really fluid tail that can move all sorts of directions and sway all sorts of directions, because there's a movie scene where Argo was still in his spaceship form and Godzilla swings his tail back and goes whoop, boom, knocks him clean out of the sky. If you watch Godzilla 2000, because that is a really awesome, really cool Godzilla movie. That's one of my top favorites. But anyway, enough yakking, on to accessories. Now, he only comes with some two interchangeable hands. These are some gripping hands. You can have them with his open claw finger hands, so you can remove these if you want to. They are easily removable. And of course, if you want to, now put in, and these might be a little difficult to put on because I haven't heated this up yet. But, well, you know what? I'm just gonna put these to the side and put his claw finger hands back on because I'm just not gonna struggle with that right now. Put his claw finger hands back on, and of course, if you do have the Hiya Toys Exquisite Basic Godzilla 2000 Heat Ray version, I'm bringing that his Heat Ray out. This Heat Ray does not come with this figure. You have to have the Heat Ray version, but it is compatible. So if you do have the Heat Ray version, all you have to do is open the mouth, bring the tongue down, like so, and just push this right into the Heat Ray sockets, like so. Is it lining up? There we go. Have to make sure you have it lined up properly, and then boom, there you go. The Hiya Toys Exquisite Basic Godzilla 2000 normal version firing off the Heat Ray. Just we don't have the Heat Ray effect with the dorsal spines though, but it still looks cool nonetheless. The only problem with that, with the Heat Rays in here, it kind of makes the head a little top heavy, so the head's always going to want to bend down like that, so you kind of want to try your best to balance it. And also, word of advice when putting these, when applying these Heat Rays into the mouth, you always want to make sure you have a firm, steady grip, like up here, like on the middle part, when you're trying to put it in, because you never want to grip it here. Because if your fingers slip, guess what's going to happen? Your thumb or your other fingers is going to go straight into these pointy pieces right here. And you know what that's going to do? That's going to prick your finger and that's going to make you bleed. So yeah, definitely take caution when applying these Heat Rays in your figure, because they can cut you if you're not careful. I'm just letting you guys know and just putting out a quick word of warning. But anyway, with all that said, if I have to give this figure a final score based on detail, articulation, and playability, I have to give him a drum roll, please. And based on detail, articulation, and playability, I've already spoiled it at the beginning of the video, but I'm going to have to give him an absolutely honest, knocked out of the park, absolutely perfect, well done, 10 out of 10. Why? Although some people might have different opinions, like I said, Hiya Toys definitely went above and beyond with this one, like they always do with their other Godzilla figures as well. And they nailed it with this one. I have nothing negative to say about this figure at all whatsoever. Now, the only thing I know, some people would say, you know, it would make sense for like all the versions to come with a Heat Ray instead of just making you have to buy the Heat Ray version to have it. Well, the Heat Ray version is kind of sort of a repaint, so I get it. That's to get you to get the repaint, but the repaint also looks really cool. And also, I just read some news, because I've seen it on Facebook about this figure. Well, not this figure in particular, but another variant of this figure that Hiya Toys is going to be putting out very soon. And I already took a guess on that when I received this figure, because I said, you know, there's a good chance that Hiya Toys could make an Exquisite Basic Godzilla vs. Mechaguirus variant of this figure, and just with like a little bit more of a lighter color scheme, since that fight in that movie takes place in daylight. And mark my word, sure enough, that's what I seen on Facebook this morning, or like earlier. And yeah, they're putting out a Godzilla vs. Mechaguirus variant with a lighter color scheme. That one's a little bit more of a brighter green. And I'm definitely going to be looking into getting that one soon as it is available. But anyway, guys, that pretty much concludes it for this review. As always, thank you guys all so much for watching. Your viewership is much appreciated. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. And to wrap it all up, stay safe, take care, God bless, stay positive, stay powered up, and peace out.